Gonna run some more laps here. The new patch has come out for a lot of things, but what I'm curious about right now is how it affected the Audi. Two main things: it has a little bit less drag, so should be just a little quicker down the straights, but then surprisingly they adjusted the dampers in the rear. So first I'm going to see if it had any effect on ride height. The ride heights look exactly the same as before, so I don't think it messed with the ride height at all. Good news is I have Motec up and running, so I'll be able to look at the data I did I think what was it, yesterday or the day before. Let's see what the weather is real quick. Pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool weather here, so car's gonna have a lot of grip. Let's just see what it does. See how it feels mostly. Probably run about 7-8 laps and look at the telemetry and see if I can see a difference in the velocities of the dampers. Get some kind of idea if they added more dampening, less dampening, yada yada yada. I believe they just adjusted the rear dampers. I don't think it was like a holistic change, but I'll have to reread those notes once I go look at the data just to double check. I believe it was just the rear dampers that got adjusted. I mean, balance-wise, it doesn't feel like there's too much of a change. Maybe, if anything, a little bit on the understeer side. What's up, Dan and Streaky? How you guys doing? See how it feels up over there. That feels really good. Got a lot of curb there, didn't lift. Felt nice and planted. It's gonna be a little more aggressive with the curbs right now, just see if I can feel the difference before I look at the difference in the data. I mean, it really didn't affect the setup. Pretty minor stuff, so you can still run your previous sets if you want. Maybe just put a little bit more oversteer into it, but it doesn't seem that bad right now. It definitely wasn't a major change in handling. It's very minimal, at least in this weather. There's just a little bit more understeer through there, but I probably don't have my turn in right yet. I felt really good though up over that curb. Usually you get up on that first chicane curb on the right and it'll kick you loose pretty bad.
2:18.5.
It feels a lot better going up over the last little crest there. Just feels a lot more stable in general going through there. I mean, the setup was already pretty stable, but I was leaning on the car quite a bit there. That felt really good. So I think you done good, iRacing. Because that was kind of one of the weird effects of this car. Is if you're going, it's pretty good on flat tracks, but you did anything like going through Eau Rouge, and the car would just get wicked mean on you. So I had to put so much spring in it, so I might be able to experiment with taking some spring out of it. Just see what the car is like when I do that. And that does feel pretty good right now. There's just a little bit understeer in it. So maybe soften up the front roll bar a click. Something like that. Yeah, a little bit more understeer going through there than there used to be too. Because the car was getting pretty dialed in for that corner. Last time I did a race prep video. Pretty good through there. Maybe get turn a little bit more. It feels really stable through the slow stuff.
2:17.9.
It's just it is so much better through there. I don't have to worry about it. Like, I can just really lean on it when I turn into the first part, that right hander, get up on that curb. I don't have to worry about the rear end kicking back out. Just much more stable. Just goes where I want it to go. Again, it wasn't terrible before, but it's just that a little more that really makes a big difference. Gives you that much more confidence in the car. That was pretty good through there. Now I got a decent line. A lot of this pushing that I'm talking about might just be I'm not really used to warmed up yet. That was pretty nice on throttle. Good rotation on throttle. That's pretty good rotation on throttle there. I honestly can't say if I feel a difference in the handling, the balance. It just feels more planted over bumps and stuff like that. I mean, if anything, there's like a slight bit more understeer on throttle. What's up, George? No, my Rouge feels like a dream right now. Not a death trap. Let's go through there with confidence. I'm gonna push pretty hard through there this time. See what she does. Oh, I didn't. I was gonna try and go through there without lifting, and that wasn't quite part of the plan. That snapped pretty wild loose on me there when I didn't lift. I might be asking a little bit much of the car. I wasn't expecting it to sap that loose. That kind of caught me off guard because it had just done so good the couple laps before that. Now, blanchimont's never been a problem in this car. This car isn't like the McLaren where blanchimont's just you're sweating bullets before you turn in. This car's never been a problem through blanchimont, for me at least. It just really, for me, it just would always understeer through there. Or the McLaren, I'd just get this weird snap loose death wiggle. What's up, Nelton? How you doing, bud? Yeah, no, it's a completely different car than the McLaren as far as that feeling. Like, I'm not worried about this at all. I just got to hit that apex, get back on the throttle, good to go. So I still can't go wide open throttle through Rouge, which gets a little weird. But I mean, I'm barely lifting through there right now. I'm really interested to see what these rear damper average velocities are going to be compared to what they were before. Ooh, sweet, didn't get a 1X though. I was going to get a 1X. Kind of missed my apex there, but still rotate nicely out of the corner. So the balance to me feels fine. Now that I'm starting to get a little warmed up, doesn't really feel like it changed at all. And turned in too early. It's like like how stable it feels through here over those curves. You don't have to really worry about hitting the curbs.
2 minutes 17.8.
I mean, that feels so much better going over that curb. I just really didn't want to go over that curb before. I got pretty aggressive with that curb, got in the throttle when I was still over the curb, and no real drama coming off the curb. I'm gonna try and drive over that curb. I kind of messed up entry. Again, these aren't the most aggressive curbs that we'll see this season, but a couple of the curbs I had a lot more trouble with than I'm having trouble with now, so it's nice to see that improvement. I really didn't want to bother with that curb before. I actually think it's just a better line if you don't touch that curb, not that curb, but the curb before that corner. It's even easier to save a slide coming out of a corner now. It was already pretty controllable, but now it's even better. Yeah, it's awesome how much I can really turn into that right-hander there. Before I was kind of afraid to put that much wheel on it because it'd make the rear end snap loose, but I can just really lean on the car going into that corner. Now what's nice about being able to go over curves is you don't have to be so accurate with your line. You don't have to worry about just hitting that curb, just inside the curb, just perfectly. You know, if you grab a little bit of the curb, it's not the end of the world, which really does help you when you don't have to be so conservative. Yeah, balance feels fine. Rotates out of there nicely once I'm on the proper line. And just too shallow. I'm gonna do one more lap, see if I can get one better clean lap, and then I'll check out what the Motec has to say about all this. I was so close to full throttle. And even just being able to stay full throttle over the last little crest there and how nicely it handled that. It's a big improvement. What's up, Roberta? How you doing, bud? Yeah, one more lap.
Minute 17.7.
I'm gonna see if I can do it without lifting. Ah! I just couldn't turn in like I wanted to. I got scared. Felt pretty good though. I was just afraid to put too much wheel into it. Tire pressures look almost exactly the same as before. I mean, it's 27.4 after this long of a run before, so let's go see what Motec has to say about all this. It feels almost exactly the same, but better over curbs now. More stable going through Eau Rouge. I guess that was one of the main reasons I made the adjustment. So these are my old numbers. Just realized that you guys can't see my mouse for some reason. But I'm looking at Motec, so hold on a second. So that's kinda use point filtering, capture mouse cursor. Capture mouse cursor's on, but for some reason it doesn't show up. Or am I just tripping? There it is. Maybe I have. Just doing a little troubleshooting right now, because you guys can't see it right now. It's there. Okay, I just have to actually click on Motec and then it starts to show up. Alright. So, what I'm interested in is these numbers right here. 147, 141, 139, 147. Let's look at the tire temps real quick so you guys can just confirm with me they're exactly the same. These are old numbers. These are before update. So tire temps, pretty much picked. This is I'll show the tracks. So this is coming out of La Source. I bring it down to lap intervals. So Lap 16, looking at these numbers, 27.3. Lap 17, which was only 6 laps in a row, 27.4. So, again, that's what we were seeing in the garage just before we left, so it doesn't seem like it's affecting tire temps at all. Now let's see. So one more time, we'll go back to suspension. Get a bigger sample. So it's 141, 147, 139, 147. Let's see what the difference is. The moment of truth. So it looks like they added more dampening to those dampers. Numbers just a little bit lower. Doesn't really change if I move around the sample. Fronts look exact. Well, let me see if the fronts are the same or not. Go back to this. $125, 120. I don't think those are the same. 129, 125. So let's go back. Seems like those changed more. 125, 120, 129, 125. Yeah, looks like the dampening was lessened on the front a little bit. Wish there was a quicker way to switch back and forth. It's 127, 122. 130, 126. 127, 122, those are two numbers I'm going to pay attention to right now. 127, 120, or 130, 123. It looks like okay, let's go back here. This is 133, 130. The left front definitely sped up. 133, 130. $130, 125. That slowed down? Oh, that's the wrong data set. 130, 125. So it looks like it did speed up over there too. Yeah, 133, 130. So that's interesting. Now, I'm going to go into iRacing real quick. Because I could have swore they said they just changed the rear dampers. Just going to read the release notes real quick. Audi. Rear dampening has been added to improve performance over the curbs with sudden track changes in camber, track camber elevation. So that adds up to what we're seeing. But the front's sped up a little bit for some reason. Maybe it's just a difference balance in the car. Can't really figure that one out on my own. So just looking at the velocities, there's not much of a change there. What's up, Ronnie? Yeah, no, Roberto, I saw your tire pressures when I tried that set at Indy, and first, these tire pressures just work better for me. I just like it around the 190 or mid 127 or mid 27 pounds of pressure. So, looks like they had a little bit of dampening, but I feel like I could have created these numbers with just making different damper settings, so. I don't know. I guess the bottom line is it feels better. A little bit slower dampening in the rear. I really don't want to do anything to the car, to be perfectly honest. Maybe I could practice with some maybe increase the front roll bar a little bit. Just get it to turn in a little bit more. What kind of pressures did you run in the rough, Roberto? Yeah, I finally got it up and running again. Yeah, I see what you're saying about the balance with slower rear damper changes, but it's not like that drastic a change. Like I was expecting. Let's just go back real quick. Because it's not like I was far off those numbers. So I don't feel like if I was to make these adjustments, just added some more, because all this is really this difference that we saw in the rear, that's a difference of like 1 or 2 clicks for rebound and compression. That's it. And I just honestly don't feel like if I would have done that pre-update, it would have had the same effect that I'm feeling right now. So that's what doesn't really add up for me right now. It's like, is it, I don't know. Is it a longer stroke on the damper, which doesn't make any sense? Is there more travel? Is it a different dynamic on dampening, or is it like a more progressive type damper or more linear? I just don't feel like just adding 1 or 2 clicks of rebound and compression to get these numbers, which is all I would have had to have done, would have had the same results that I'm feeling right now. That's what I'm kind of confused about. Or maybe it would have, and I just hadn't found that sweet spot yet. Last season, you were running all the way down to 175. Dang. I don't know, maybe I just need that last little push to get it there, but I feel like I just don't feel like that would have been enough, but who knows, I could be wrong. Now what's kind of got me scratching my head here is... Actually, no, it doesn't. Never mind. So I guess what I'll do right now is just kind of balance up these dampers a little bit more based on the car handling. So... guess I just want a little bit more turn in, so I think what I'm gonna do is increase the... Actually, no, that won't give me more turn in. I'm just gonna take out a little bit of bump, get it closer to this 130 number, and then I'm just gonna do... I'll do... I think I'll do low speed. Some reason my stream died. OBS got disconnected. I think that's the first time that's ever happened on YouTube. Don't know what that was all about. But I think what I'm gonna do right now, just take some bump out. I'm gonna take out some high speed because I want this graph to get a little bit taller right here and a little bit more shallow right here, so it mirrors this as much as possible. But like Ronnie says, we'll look at our setup sheet and see what the car's telling us, or what the setup's telling us. I used to play Forza a long time ago. I think I played it all the way up till 4 and then stopped playing video games for a while and then found iRacing. I've never looked back. So I'm gonna take out 1 click of high speed. I'm also going to take a click of roll bar out. I just want the front to turn a little bit more. So taking this out will make the front end a little less responsive. And the car still is maybe just a tad on the understeer side, so I kind of want to experiment softening up the front to see what it does for me as far as overall oversteer. You soften up the front relative to the rear, it's going to give you more oversteer. Yeah, no, you can't play those games after playing iRacing. The feel's just all off. I'll have to experiment with those lower tire settings, Roberto. Oh no, I just always... In the rough last season, I was running 190 the whole time once it was up to pressure, so... Alright, that's okay, Ronnie. It's just I got a Robert in here. Granite City Racing's real name is Robert. And then got Roberto. And then got Ronnie. Or no, it's not Robert, it's George. I don't know, I thought it was Robert. It also feels more stable when I get on the edge of that curb there, because usually when you get on that edge of the curb on the exit of Blanchmont, it kind of wants to kick loose and start doing some weird things, but with the new dampers it feels a little better. Nah, somebody's got to do it, George. Just really curious. Be interesting to see what this car's like at a track like Zolder now. You gotta really attack those curbs through the chicane. I just love how stable it is through there now. It's just a huge, and that's probably the biggest improvement, and that's what they said in the release notes, is they changed the dampers so it'd be more stable through parts of tracks with elevation changes or camber changes. I find it hard to believe that just changing the velocity by 0.02 inches per second or 0.04 would really result in that difference in feeling that I'm feeling.
In front of you. Stay right.
But it could have. It could have. Oh geez. Reading and driving, not easy.
Minute 18 class.
All in all, I just feel like I can lean on the car more than I used to be able to. I don't have to worry about curbs quite as much. Like hitting that curb before, I would have had to be a lot more patient before I could get back on the gas. So it would just been bouncing all over the place.
Minute 17.4.
Super smooth through there. A little offline, but still stable. Do about 4 more laps. I'll take a look at my tuck. See, like right there, my right tires are on the outside edge of that curb, and before it would just want to try and buck me loose, but now the car seems to handle it quite nicely.
17.8.
Ah, that feels so good through there. I mean, the rear end like kind of stepped out, but it wasn't anything major. Teammate Knowlton in the server now. I'll do 2 more laps and then check it out.
Two minutes 17.5.
Ah, I feel so good through there. Not gonna lift. Yeah, it just wants to kill me.
Sorry, man. We'll be good. We'll get it back. On your right. You're clear.
Flat out, still a bit much to ask. Let's see what the difference in dampers are. 130, difference of 3 on the right, difference of 6 on the left. Right side closed up a little bit, left side actually got a little bigger. I think I was driving a little more aggressively that time. I don't think you'll have any trouble, Don or Tom. You know, honestly, Jason, I don't know. Let's look at some. Shoot, that's different weather. Just gonna look at some telemetry and top speeds at certain spots, but it's kind of hard to tell with the different telemetry, or with just different weather. Let's see here. 158.4, 158.8, 159.7. That might have not been a 159.3, 159.8. See if I can find a session with similar lap time. I ran a 17.5 in this session, so let's see what the top speeds are. Honestly, it doesn't. The top speed I don't really think got affected much. I mean, it's within the same mile an hour. Granted, I think this session was a little warmer, but my lap times are almost identical. I mean, I was running mid 17, pretty much almost the same exact lap times. I don't think it tells me what the weather was, though. Felt like it was a little bit warmer, though. Go to a cooler session. I'm pretty sure this was a cold session. It was way back in my set, so let's give us an idea. But it doesn't seem like top speeds really change that much. 158.6, 158, 57.9, 159.8. I mean, top speed doesn't look like it's changed. So what are you saying? Speed up the rebound? Robert? Just allow that inside tire to go down a little bit more. Well, let's do a couple things. I'm gonna do what Roberto said. I like the raising the rear ride height 1 click. I don't know, just as far as the dampers are concerned, I just like having those numbers as close to each other as I can. If I speed up the rebound, it's going to start getting those numbers away from each other, but I'll try it. Go back on the compression. Just go 1 click each on the rebounds real quick. See how this feels before we do anything to the ride height. 'Cause I just want to do one thing. I'll just save that later. See if this feels any different on turn-in. That's why he said that, Roberto, because he actually just gave it to me without even asking.
Up, one off course, one off course.
It does feel better. Front end feels a little more snappy.
Coming. Left side. Clear.
Yeah.
Left side. Clear.
Nah, I get the logic behind it. It's just right now my mentality is I want to get the rebound and the compression the same numbers, but that's just probably me trying to focus on one thing too much, because that's just the best results I've ever had, and maybe I need to figure out like what the difference needs to be between the velocity of the rebound and the compression on any given track for the best turn and results, and not try and make them, you know, exactly even
Front of you.
velocities. I don't know though, I feel a lot of understeer right there. I'm gonna get on throttle though. No, give it some laps here and we'll focus a couple laps and see if I can start running some better laps, see what happens. It feels better through there now I'm on the right line. Ah, come on. Yeah, no, you're definitely right, Robert. I just have to figure out how offset those velocities should be and all that fun stuff for just, you know, as close to optimal settings as I can. It's all a learning process. Just have to get a different mindset going. That's all. Probably the hardest thing about when you're tuning is you start thinking one way and it's hard to change your mind, but the quicker you can when you see improved results, the better off you are. Love how good it feels through there, the rear end just so planted. You get a little draft assistance off this McLaren.
Left side. Clear.
She got a couple fast beamers in front of me, see if I can catch them. Aww. Aww.
Slow on the right. Keep coming. Johnny in front, front. I don't know where to go.
Like that little extra insurance I have now with the more stability on that outside curb, because before anytime I get near that outside of that curb, I'd just lift. Because I knew if I stayed full throttle, the car would try and snap loose on me. I'm gonna do one more lap here.
0.7.
It's fun. Fun and fast. Yeah, it's too fast on entry. I'll do one more lap. Oh, it just feels so good through there. So, going back to my last adjustment, the reason that it worked is I just had too much rebound dampening in it. So, say when I'm turning into this right-hander, the right side of the car, or the right front, was staying down too long, so it wasn't really loading up the left tire, or it wasn't allowing the right side of the car to roll over quick enough, and it was just kind of keeping the overall car from changing direction. So just by freeing up that inside a little bit, you allow the car to roll a little bit quicker, and it's just a little more responsive. Before I was just kind of tying down, and then the whole front would just kind of just wash out because it'd get stuck in like this middle ground of wanting to turn, but something's kind of holding it back from turning. It's like anything, it's just all about finding the right balance. And before I was trying to just make the rebound and compression as equal as possible, but then you also got to take into account why it's giving you those numbers, and it's not exactly, and depending on the track, the elevation changes, the curbs, you may get a, you know, even rebound and compression velocities, but on the bar chart over 5 laps, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what's best for turning. That just means over the whole average of the lap, that's your average velocity. Mark, no, this is still a sprint field. I'm just trying to figure this car out. I think I'm starting to get pretty close. So we'll definitely save this. A little bit cooler weather though, so what is it? 29 degrees? Yeah, quite a bit cooler in the last time I built the setup. But I guess one note you can take away from that, it's pretty big variation in track temp, and the same set works pretty nice for both situations. Okay, then let's make sure we grab Massimo's setup. Now watch, see my starting pressures, his are gonna be like 15 kilopascals lower. Or yeah, just about 13. So he's running lower pressures. He's probably running softer springs. Yeah. So what am I running for springs? Yeah, I got my springs maxed out, which I can start. The whole reason my springs are this strong right now is because I had to counter the awkwardness of the car going through Rouge Rouge, and that's the only way I could get it to go through. They're kind of stable, so pretty much done for this video. Excuse me, but that's something I want to start experimenting with, is bringing those springs back down, because I mean I'm fully maxed out down here, and this is one click away from being fully maxed out. So usually you're not on complete one end of the spectrum per setup, so let's see what his ride heights were. Well, what just happened? Oh, I didn't save it. It's like, where'd it go? So his ride height, he's about a ooh, he's got a lot more rake in his car than I do. He's a millimeter lower in the front, but he's like 7 millimeters higher in the rear. A lot less caster than I'm running. Well, before, I'm actually going to take that out for a couple laps just to see how it feels, but before I do that, I'm going to go look at the damper settings for the previous run. Not much difference. It's 131 and 135 versus $130 and $135. So according to Motec, nothing really changed. Let's see, the high is 9. I think that was like 9 before. The high is 8.6. And you also have to take into account how you drove the laps, all that stuff. Was it exactly the same? Probably not. 9.1 and 8.9. So everything almost looks the same, but it does feel just a little bit better. Alright, let's go drive. Oh, you guys weren't even looking at that. Well, you'll just have to take my word for it. Alright, let's see what Roberto's set feels like. First thing I know I'm going to have to do is bump up the feedback, because he's running a lot less caster than I am, so it's just going to feel super light. Steering wise, so I was running 13.3, I'll remember that for later. Just don't have quite the feel in the middle of the corner. A lot of that has to do with a lot less caster. I'm just not used to it yet. Let's turn in better in mine. It doesn't have the same feel as mine, but it definitely turns in better. I feel like it turns in better, but then the middle of the corner it kinda doesn't have the same grip that I have mid-corner, which makes sense with less caster. And these are in a lot lower tire pressures too, so that's something to keep in mind for the first couple laps. Feels like it's better on entry, but worse in the middle. I might just be driving in the corner faster because it feels better on entry, so I'm carrying too much speed in the middle. And a couple laps to get used to it. It's more or less just getting used to the feel, really, because Oh, I bet he's running a different gear set than I am too. Where is he? Actually, it might be the same gears. Based on where I'm shifting. Yeah, I bet it's the same gears. Couple corners it's definitely better, or corner, that's one of them, but there's a couple corners where it feels a little more understeery off the corner. Do like the way it changes direction into this corner. Gets through there pretty nicely. Also gets through here really nice. That moment of realization, I just put his setup on the interweb, but I'm not sure if he's mad about that or not. But for my channel, I think it's important to analyze stuff, so. It's always nice trying other sets because you can get ideas for yours. So ultimately, I just want to keep working on what I got. And then you might pick up a couple different things off other people's sets you can try and see how it works for you. Find that nice little hybrid of the two. Or just maybe use a couple things to help enhance your set.
Minute 17.7.
Yeah, I'm sure it is too, Steph. Again, I had to do that just to get the car to be stable through Radio and Eau Rouge. Is more or less a band-aid. So, it'll probably be my next video, starting to soften up the springs a little bit. It's refreshing to know that you can run that stiff as spring right though, and it's still pretty nice over the curbs. That's pretty comforting. Do one more lap. I want to check out what his damper numbers are. I think I'm gonna call it on the video. I'm just kind of curious to see what his car's running at damper wise. And softer springs and all. Alright, pretty well burnt out. That set feels good in a couple spots, and then I guess the weird part for me is the positive feedback with the steering on entry, and then the middle of the feel kind of goes away. That's the best way I can explain it. Let's go see what his excuse me. Motec says. Yeah, no, definitely have when they change the springs. That's a good point. Ronnie, when I change the springs, I have to keep my eyes pointed out on the caster and toe. Alright, let's see what we got her. He's running a lot of slower dampening in the front. A little bit slower in the front and a lot slower in the rear. It's about 0.1 inches per second slower in the rear, if not a little more. You can see his graph's spending more time right here. That just basically means his suspension's moving slower than mine. And if we go back to mine, it's interesting because it doesn't really feel like it's moving slower, but it is. And go back to mine, it's a little bit more in this area. Here's kind of similar to his, but over here it's definitely a little bit flatter around the 4. Just keep your eye on the 4 when you go back to his. It just has a little bit different shape. His does is all. See, especially on his bump, there's a lot higher over the 4. It's kind of similar to mine on the rebound, but just a little bit lower. Yeah, good point, Ronnie. So Ronnie was saying it's because he has softer springs, so naturally, golly, they move slower. You can see how much higher this curve is here. Again, keeping your eye on the 4 and the 6 line. And going back to mine. It's not going to be quite the same difference as, because it's only really a difference of, actually, let's see, 1.3, 1.24, 1.35, 1.30. So is there a way to overlay these? Make life a lot easier. Mine's actually moving slower and his in the front. And then mine's moving faster and his in the rear. Alright, I'm gonna get out of here. So, long story short, with the BOP change, I don't see any difference in top speed. But I do feel an overall improvement on his handling through a Rouge. So I imagine on any track there's an elevation change like that, or camber of the track changes, you're going to see improved handling. It feels better over the curb. So good job, iRacing. Now we'll just have to see how all the other cars pan out. Everybody's being pretty quiet right now on the forum, so we'll see who's got the fast stuff next week. Alright, yeah, no problem, George. Thanks for hanging out, bud. Yeah, thanks for your help, Ronnie. Thanks for hanging out, guys, and I will see you next time. Later.